Hello, it's your friendly neighborhood Nisschgl. I'm here on opening day in Ischgl. Not the best weather, it's not snowing enough for off-piste. It's raining when you go down below, but it's always fun when they open. Since this is my region, I figured I will do a review, and I will do it all the season, different months. I'm coming here all the time, give you some tips, what to do, where to do, when to do, some secrets about off-piste and things like that. But and I will be concentrating more on the advanced skiers, the ones that really want to ski and not really have just have a fun easy time. But also I have some tips for new beginners, because I actually learned from having a friend come here as a new beginner that it's pretty good for new beginners. You can ski the whole region if you know which red pistes are easy and things like that. So yeah, I will do it all the season. I will be here every month and compile everything and release it for next season. So yeah, that's it.
So Ischgl has 239 kilometers of piste. It's divided on the Swiss side and the Austrian side. In the map, the Swiss side is to the left. Samnaun is the village where I wouldn't recommend to stay. It doesn't have much, and Switzerland is quite expensive. Ischgl is also quite an expensive ski resort for being in Austria. It doesn't have many hotel beds and it's a very popular place. In the last years also with the inflation, and they have been hiking the prices, so it's gotten quite expensive. My favorite area to ski in piste in Ischgl is the lifts E2 and E4, where I have several of my top 5 pistes with black 33, 34 and 35, which are excellent pistes. You also have a nice red 38 and also the red 40, which is a very nice cruising piste. This area I would recommend to go first thing in the morning. It's on the shadow side, and if it's good weather, normally a lot of people will go over to the Swiss side because that's the southern facing side, and you can ski quite alone in this area. My second favorite area in Ischgl is the Pardatschgrat peak, where you come up with the big lift Pardatschgrat Bahn, and you have 2 of my absolute favorites with the black 4 and red 1 pistes. This is an area I would recommend to ski either in the morning, but also around lunchtime, not so late, because red 1 gets destroyed by everyone going down to the Ischgl, to the valley, and also the black 4 is quite popular, so I would ski here fairly early. You also have the red 7, which is a nice nature run. The piste itself is not so fun, but it's a nice run and to ski if the weather is nice. And then you have red 7 going, you can stop and go up with the lift midway, or you continue in black 7 and go down all the way down to Ischgl. And black 7 is quite a nice run, also narrow and fairly steep, so it's quite a tough piste. And another nice run is the red 5. You have 5A or the 5 standard, so to say. It's quite a nice run to go down, and you can go back up with the F2, the old lift that used to come from the valley, but they took the bottom part away, or you go all the way down and take it up to Pardatschgrat again. And the best area to ski off piste is along E5. It's a very modern new Kabinenbahn, and it goes up to 2,800 meters plus. And you can ski down on either side of the mountain, follow the ridge, ski on the south, east, west or the north side. Away from the lift on the northern side, northwestern side, you have a transport back. You will have to use your poles, and you have to take the E4 lift up and ski down red 40 to get back to E5. If you go towards the skiing systems, you can go directly back to E5, but here, if it's snow, you can really spend the whole day just going this lift, including the E4 if you need to. And you can also often find good snow quite long after it's snowed 1, 2, 3 days if you search for it. The Swiss side is fairly flat. Many pistes are marked red, but they really should be considered blue. This is an area that has sun because it's straight towards the south, and November, December, early January you get a lot of sun here, when on the Ischgl side it might be not so much. There's quite a few nice areas for off-piste, especially when there have been strong winds, and a lot of the off-piste on the Ischgl side will be destroyed. You can find areas here with quite nice snow, even though on warm days and with the strong sun on that side, it could be that it gets destroyed by the warmth and sunlight instead. The main area of Ischgl is surrounding Idalp, where you have the most people skiing. You have some good piste there with red 10, blue 11. It's quite nice, but it's a lot of people, and I would suggest, if you want to ski this piste, do it in the morning, because already around lunchtime they're getting quite bumpy and destroyed by the sheer amount of people skiing down. It's not an area where I ski a lot, but it has some quite nice pistes. It's just that it's quite a lot of people, and there is where you will find the most time standing in line in the lift queue.
Black 4 from Pardatschgrat Bahn, 1200 meters if you go all the way down from Black 4, jump over to Black 1 and go down. This is my absolute favorite pistes. Don't wait too long to drive during the day because it's fairly popular. A few years ago it was better because it lasted longer, but now so many go this that it gets a little bit destroyed. So now it's just lunchtime, still looking good, the sun is up, so you should be able to go quite hard. Quite nice, a little bit hard, but when you get down to lower end just before the midway lift, the old F2, it splits up, and I like the black part much better, less people and a steep nice run in the end, so I'll take you this one. Down to the F2. You can continue here, jump over into 1A. It's a very nice deep port just below here. If the snow going down to the village is good, you get a very long run, 1200 meters height, and then you're back up in about 10 minutes with the big Pardatschgrat barn. But yeah, depends of the snow quality below. Today I jump off here. So if you're a serious skier, I would recommend you to start with black 35 and 34 directly in the morning, because usually there's not many people. As you can see, very few. You can ski hard alone in the shadow. So maybe you don't take your strongest sunglasses, sun goggles on, and take some, because in January, December, the sun doesn't make it over the edge, so it's fairly dark, but you can ski as fast as you want, completely alone. So let's go. I'm going to take the black 34. So as you can see, very few people going here in the morning. You don't get sun, but you can go as fast as you want. Now we're at red number 1, which is actually one of my favorite red pits in the world. It's not very steep, but it's very nice. It's flat in the beginning, then it's red, and you can ski all the way down to the... This is actually the going down back to the Ischgl village. So I would recommend to go this one like just before lunchtime, just after lunchtime. Then you can see it's still very well prepared. This is just before lunchtime, people start going. And since this is the going down to the village in the afternoon, it will be very bumpy and quite icy and a lot of people. But right now, I think I'm gonna get a great run from this. One trick here, if you like it to be steeper, you don't go down on the left side coming down. You go along here, and then you stick to the right side, where it's actually almost, I would say, it's kind of like a black piste. Also, in the end here, you see at the bottom, you can go to the right or the left, and the left is the better one. You still get down to the village on the left one. I usually go the left one because it's a nicer approach. And here, if you don't want to go down all the way to the village, you can take a left and go this steep black piste, a short run down, and jump on the middle station for Silvretta-ban or Fimba-ban down there. Maybe it's bad weather or bad snow down below, so you don't want to go all the way. And also the red one, as you can see, is trees around, so that's one of the things that's actually not so good in Ischgl, is that it's very high up, meaning that if it's bad sight and clouds, you don't have many pistes in the trees where you can see well, and then red wine is an option, but then often full with people because it's one of the few you can see something. And here we stay to the right to get down to Pardatschgrat. In the afternoon, now it's flat and perfect. In the afternoon it will be very bumpy, full with people. Here you can just run on. Careful for snowboarders, keep a distance of 10 meters at least. Then we come to the flat part, there's some speed here. And here at the end slope, going down to Pardatschgrat, barn there in the below, is also a trick. If you stick to the left side here, it's a red. But if we go over here, over to the right side, it's quite a lot steeper. And on the right side, I would say this is a black piste. It's quite steep. Of course, this is going down to the village, 1400 meters, so the snow quality can be different. And they put a lot of artificial snow here, so in the springtime it gets heavy, but if you then take all mountain skis, like 90 millimeter underfoot or something, so, or off-piste skis, then it's actually very fun to go on melting artificial snow. Let's go.
And if you don't like to go all the way down with the red one, you can turn off, and the steep one it would be black one, and ski down to the middle station of Silvretta-ban or Fimba-ban. I usually go around to Fimba-ban.
Another one of my favorites pistes is the Black 33. It's black piste, but it usually has good quality snow. That's not often the case with black piste, but this I rarely go with bad snow. Black 33 top again, you just take a left to go in to Red 38, you get back to the lift E4, you can see there in the background. You can ski again, very nice run. But we continue on the Black 33 to go down to Black 34. It's a super good run. Go. As you can see, still this area has very few skiers. It's a nice day, so people stay in the sun. It's about 10:30 now, and there's very few people coming down. Let's go. Very nice. No one in front of me. Take the 35 instead. So the two first run I've done, not one person. And the black 35 is really good if you're going to go fast, because it's only black and steep in the beginning. Then it's very flat, so when you accelerate there you're still in some control, and if you fall you won't slid too far and have to pick up your skis everywhere. And I like the end part is, it goes from blue then to red, and here you can really go fast with good visibility. The best photo opportunity, I think, is on top of the Paulinkopf. You walk up You take D1 lift, you walk up 10 meters, take off your skis, and you get up here and you have incredible views. I think that's the best views in Ischgl, top of Palikov.
And if I want to ski really fast on the days I feel really 100%, I usually take the 14B, which is one of my favorites also. It didn't make the top 5, but it might be my 6th favorite piste. In the beginning you have a transport where you have an excellent view of large part. You see over to the Swiss side, you see the Austrian side and big parts of the system. And you can just cruise down until you get into the steep part. And then I cross over into the steep part, and here in the beginning it's only 100-200 meters steep, and then it turns quite flat like a blue piste, but you collect the speed on the top, and then you can slowly increase when you get into the higher speeds. It's good to be on a blue piste, like the angle of a blue piste, because then you accelerate a little bit slowly, so you can really control how fast you want to go, because if you're accelerating in a very steep part in high speeds, all of a sudden you notice that you're skiing way too fast. But I, in the beginning, then just collect my speed to a certain level, and then it turns blue, and then I can accelerate a little bit slowly and have some control. Also, if you fall in a blue part, then it means that it's not so severe, you don't fly so far. And then I get back down to the bottom of the C5 lift and can go straight back up with a very quick lift and ski 14B again. So when you're coming up to the top with the lift E4, normal entry to the Red 40 is to ski to the right, but I like to go to the left and go around on the back side to enter Red 40. It's less populated, and it's a nicer run with a very beautiful view.
A very nice entrance, not as many people, it's straight, no serpentine road, very beautiful views. You can just stand and enjoy the moment until you get to Red 40. standing here at Red 40 early in the morning. I would suggest you go early in the morning to Red 40 because it's quite popular and a lot of people go here, and it's a good piste for beginners that wants to start going some red. It's not so difficult, but it's very popular, so it gets destroyed fairly fast, and it's a nice cruising run. It's not very difficult, but you can go fast and cruising. I like to stick to the left in the mid because it's less people usually. So you take to the left, 40A. Quite flat, but usually you can ski alone, even though it's a lot of people in the main 40 piste, if you look there. Of course, above here is the famous E5 lift area, huge off-piste, my favorite area, but they open usually quite late. Now it's January 22nd and it's still not open. They opened the piste, but it's been bad with snow and winds, so if you check, it's not really nice off-piste, but in-piste is perfect today, so let's go. Woo! Great run. And then here be careful because it's crossing. And now it's 1 week into February, so the sun doesn't really hit the slope early. Like, I think you have to go mid-February. After that you get sun early, and in the morning when it's not so many people you can select where to go, but I would select to go 40A when it's later and there's a lot of people, because not many people go 40A compared to the other ones. I'm gonna go a little bit further down and go in the middle to take the steep part, which usually gets destroyed in the afternoon. So here you have 40, you go 40C to the left. That is flat in the beginning, but then it's quite steep. They say 57%, I don't know how much you can trust this. If you take the kind of the regular 40 you get down in the ravine. Whereas, crazy enough, even on sunny days, it's low light, so it can be difficult viewing. But let's take the steep now in the morning to see if it's a nice piste. Now just the sun start hitting. Beautiful. Over there.
Red 38 is another piste I like quite a lot. Unfortunately, it gets a lot of traffic, people passing by, and it gets very bumpy in the afternoon. It's also a quite narrow piece, so if it's people, it can be difficult to pass by, and you need to keep your distances to keep safe. So it can be a little bit tedious there to trying to pass people, but it's quite a cool run with like snaking through the countryside and flat parts, steep parts, and a very interesting run that change character all the time. So I like it.
That I like. It's a nice piste, don't speed a lot, very fun, but it's quite narrow, and all of a sudden there's a train of people, so it's a little bit dangerous passing, then I rather be safe.
And for you who like steep skiing, I would recommend the two steepest pits in Ischgl are Black 13 and Black 14A. Ischgl states that their steepest piste is 14A. I actually don't agree. I think 13 is steeper, but at least 13 has a much longer part, steep part. And 14A is really, in the beginning, is not very steep, and the bottom third is very steep then. But in Black 13 has quite, all of Black 13 is steep, even though Black 13 is a shorter run as a whole. But my favorite of these two is the 13, which is crazy steep. And if you want the actual steepest part, you stick to the right side. Black 72 is a piste that actually survives the day quite well. Maybe is less people skiing there, and the first part is excellent. It's fairly steep and a very nice run. Unfortunately, only the top is fun because then it turns really flat. It's even so flat that you have to push your poles to get over the hump midways. And in midways, then you can enter a red part that is quite steep and very efficient. So the beginning is great, and then it turns to very flat. Red 32 is one of my little secret favorites. You enter going up to Hull Spitze with the lift E2, and then on your way back to Idalp or Hullboden to eat, you ski over. First you have a very beautiful run turning over into the sun, if it's a sunny day of course. And Red 32 does not catch a lot of traffic because you cannot ski it multiple times with the same lift. You have to go with two lifts to get back to it, and I recommend to ski it late because it really stays nice the whole day normally, and it's a fun red run, not very steep, and you get over into Blue 23, which is then unfortunately usually very bumpy coming down, but as long as you're in the Red 32 piste, it's great. Oh shit.
And for the afternoon, I kind of like Red 12. It's a nice piste. It's kind of protected from a lot of skiers because you have to get 2 lifts to get back, so not many go this. And now late in the afternoon, it's not perfect snow, but it's still not a lot of bumps, hard snow, but much better than most of the pistes. So it's good for the afternoon if you still want to ski.
And when you ski down at the end of the day, instead of taking the red one, which is usually a lot of people and it's destroyed complete with a lot of bumps, and if you want to be a little bit more alone, not many ski the Piste Red 3 down, so then you can ski a narrow, quite steep piste for being red. It's some places are quite steep, could almost be black, but I agree it should be marked red. It's a nice run in the shadow because it's very narrow and it's forest around, but not much traffic in the afternoon skiing down. Of course you will join all the people coming down from the Afterski on top of the mountain at Pauznaner Taja, and then you enter red one in the end where you ski down with everybody. But it's quite a nice run for being that late, and it's usually not destroyed in the afternoon also because not many people ski this year.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
And if you start your day going up with the Pardatschgrat bahn, you can start skiing Blue 6, where on top you have a Ischgl sign, so it's a good photo op. Really nice photos you can take there, and then be aware that's a lot of people wanting to take a picture, so if you see that it's open and free, that you stop. But I also like to start with the blue piste in the morning, skiing down Blue 6. You get a soft start, and I ski down to Idalp and cross over to go towards the E2 and E4 lifts, which I like the most in the morning with black 33, 34 and 35. And if I start going up to Pardatschgrat, I can go the blue 6, and then I take a short lift and I ski down a red piste, and then I end up at normally ski black 34, so I get a nice progressive start to the morning, checking all systems in my body, knees, hips, back, and gradually going faster and faster.
Standing here at Red 80, which goes down to Saunan in the Swiss side, all the way down. I find this piste a bit overrated. It's okay, fairly nice, but nothing really you need to ski to have fun. But if you want to do it and go down all the way, it's a nice nature experience. And maybe do it on a day when you're not so much for skiing. You're gonna ski a little bit slower, because you lose a bit time coming back and coming up, going down to the valley, taking the Kabinenbahn there. And the best entry is just opposite, which is the piste Black 81. This is a nicer piste, but that's very rarely open, unfortunately. So but yeah, and must be a day with nice weather. If it's a little bit cloudy, then skip it, but it's a fairly nice run. Let's go. Coming from the Ischgl side, you have transports and you have a lot of entries for off-pistes. As you can see here, a few days ago it snowed, and this is usually lasts quite long, because when you ski down it takes a long time to get back. So on a snowy day, after everything has been taken and you cannot find any powder runs anymore, you can go down here. Usually it has some more. It's very safe also, not super steep. No really cliffs to drive off, and huge area, and you get off right into the piste, and you can ski pretty much anywhere with no problems.
And for you new beginners that wants to start a little bit going red pistes, in Ischgl I've listed here the reds which I consider not so difficult: 5, 7, 10, 12, 24, 30, 32, 40, and especially 40A, which is a bit flatter. These pits are usually not so steep, or they only have a short part of it that is steep that you can just carefully go down, and then you should have a nice run. And then I would say pretty much all of Saunan, I'll say 95%, most slopes in Saunan that are marked red, many of them should actually be marked blue, but I guess Saunan, they want to show that they have quite a lot of red, so many of them, if not all, but as I write here, 95% are fairly easy. So you can really ski the whole system even if you're not a very good skier. There's always any peak you're at, you can find an easy slope, a blue or some of these red ones to get down. The only problem if you're a new beginner is to ski down at the end of the day, to ski down red one, because that one is not so easy, plus it gets completely destroyed, so in the end of the day it will be full with bumps. But of course you always have the option of taking the lift down.
Hi again, it's your friendly neighborhood Nisschgl on top of Pallenkopf. Again, best view in Ischgl. Want to give some few tips about spring skiing. I find spring skiing to be the absolute best on-piste skiing. Actually better than in winter, depending on what you have as skis. Normally it will be icy in the morning, and then it will be flat and starting melting when it's really fun, nice, and in the afternoon it will be a little bit bumpy and slushy. In the morning I often skip. If you have two pair of skis you can bring up, or you can go down and change easily. I would recommend to have an on-piste with the edge, because it can be very icy, so you need good edges. But often I just take my fat skis. I have my Wolverines today. It's like an off-piste ski, 108 millimeters underfoot. But that means that when it's afternoon and slushy, it's floating above. In midday it's perfect, you don't have to work to get your edges in. In the morning it will be icy, but I often also then go up late. So I go up, depending on the weathers and stuff like that, you can figure out, yeah, it start melting by 9:30 or 10:30, and then you don't have to be so early. Otherwise, if you have your on-piste skis and have good edges, you can go in the morning also, but they will be very difficult in the end. And the biggest advantage with spring skiing is no people. It's like very few in the morning, and then in the afternoon everyone that's not so strong in the legs or new beginner and you have on-piste skis is horrible. But with the fat ones you just float above and cruise. It's very heavy for the legs, so you need to bend your legs, go take the bumps, and then it's just super fun. You can go fast, you don't have to care if you fall. You don't, because the snow is quite soft, so you don't hurt yourself often, depending on how fast you go. So I really like spring skiing. That's really the funnest time, because you get sun, so you get this today it's too warm, it's very warm, but the snow is like you get the feeling from like the sun, and then you can just go fast and have a lot of fun. Yeah, so I really enjoy spring skiing.
The E5 lift ski area is my favorite off-piste area in the world. When you get off the lift, you can ski in pretty much any direction, but most commonly you will go back towards the lift post, as in the pictures here. You can really ski down to the left, to the right, or continue along the ridge, as we do here, and go to the north side. To the left side would be the northwest side. The west and north side are a little bit flatter, and the east side, skiing down to the right, is a little bit steeper. Now we're arriving at the north side, skiing down into the shadow. It's not very steep here, but you can have snow that remains long after it snowed, because it takes 15 to 20 minutes to get there, and it can remain untouched for you to ski. And it's not very steep, but really nice if you want to cruise around, and beautiful area, quite alone, and fairly safe because there's no big cliffs or steep avalanche risk. It's lower here. Skiing down on the east side, then you have more steep, fairly safe from cliffs. There's not many at all, almost zero, I would say. But it's the avalanche risk here is higher than on the north and the west side. One advantage is that when you ski down, you arrive down to the E5 lift, so you can actually just go up again. On the north and west side, you ski down to a transport run that has been prepared by Ischgl's piste machines, but you will have to use your poles on some distances because it's quite flat, and then you get back to the E4 lift. The west and the north sides are more affected by the strong winds. Most commonly, when you have snow and strong winds, it will come from the northwest, and thus it gets destroyed quite easy. And in that case, the east side might be better, even though that the east side is in the sun more, so that could mean that it gets a little bit too heated and it destroys the snow that way. But it can also be affected by strong wind. Second favorite off-piste area is under the lift E4. It's a vast area, also quite safe. It's not super steep. There's not any cliffs really that you can ski off, so in that it's also quite safe. It's really nice, cool area where you can ski around and search for small adventures down different slopes and in crevices, and it's really enjoyable. But also, since this area is toward the north and northwest, it really gets affected by strong winds, so often here it can be fairly bad. Also, you get easily whiteouts because there's not much vegetation here. Just when you get down a little bit further, you will have some small bushes, but often here you can have complete whiteouts. But it's a really amazing area. You also really see the whole area from the lift, so it's easy to check where you should go down and really find all the small hidden gems where you can ski and have an excellent time. Under the lift E3, you have an area where it's good for bad weather because you can go through the forest, so you have visibility. This area is a little bit tricky. It's fairly steep, and in some places the woods are fairly tight. I would recommend to start directly under the lift and then move out into the forest further and further. It can be really tricky in some places to get down, and also it needs to be a lot of snow because this area to cover the ground, and because of the protection of the trees, the snow doesn't come down here as much as in the other areas. But it is really fun and adventurous, but you should be a fairly experienced skier to have fun here. There are also some quite steep parts here, so I would be wary of avalanches if there's a lot of snow. Of course, there is some protection from the woods, but I would consider this a little bit of the more unsafe areas because there are some really steep parts. But also the snow will last quite long. It's a little bit that not so many go down here, and more under the lift you can see more skiing, but you can move towards Pauznaner Taja, the Hütte, and really go through the forest at any place and get down. But yeah, in the end, depending where you end up, you might have to work a little bit and find your way down, but usually you can do it as long as there's enough snow. If there's a little snow, it can be very tricky to end up downstairs, but so far it always worked, but not for new beginners. ski route 26 is a very nice slope, fairly long and quite steep, but the snow here can be actually absolutely excellent because it's protected from these strong northwestern winds when you have those. So here actually is an area I check quite quickly when I realized that the E4 and E5 areas are wind damaged. Another area that can be good when it's a not so good site is under the Pardatschgrat bahn and the old F2 lift. You make your way down to from 5A and 5 Red 5 meets, and from there you can jump off into the avalanche protections, get through them, and as you see in the pictures, there's areas where you have a little bit of vegetation, not big trees but some bushes and small trees, which means that you can see fairly well in bad weather. But this is also a fairly tricky area, quite steep, so it's a little bit risky. No cliffs to drive off, but here really you can have more avalanche risk, and I would also say that you should be quite experienced to go this area. So here are some pictures from areas surrounding the M1 and M2 lifts, where you have some short runs, but the snow can be absolutely excellent. This current run is actually my best run ever. The snow was absolutely perfect. In this area you can find, if you search out wide from the lifts, you can find a couple of days after snowing, you can still find some patches. And the snow quality here is usually excellent, and but you will have to work a little to make some shorter runs. So this is my backup area for wind damage, and if the snow is bad, is Nisschgl, because it's all lifts. You have to sit a long time in the lift, and you have to ski a lot of flats for short runs, and but of course it's still free riding, so if you have no other option, you do it. Woohoo! And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this is an area where it's quite easy, accessible to make short climbs. If you have a hybrid binding or touring skis, you can easily review mountainsides and see what's good to ski down, and you can make a climb up for 30-40 minutes to have a few hundred meters ride, and you can do it surrounding the M1 lift and M2 lift. You can see and find some small runs and go down. It can be quite nice, and considering ski touring, you shouldn't use the word safe because you need to take care, but it's a fairly safe area considering that you can review everything, and you're standing below the wall you're gonna walk up, and you can see, and you can also see several people going up. It's quite common to see people walking up here and skiing down, so it's very easy to have an overview of what's coming up. I'm not a freestyler, but Ischgl really has a big freestyle area with big jumps, small jumps, maybe not for super professionals, but to a high level, and they have a lot if you're a new beginner and want to start. And the advantage is that you have a chairlift going up, so you can just do one chairlift up and down and in this area, and then you have lots of different new beginner rails and difficult rails and all types of jumps. And one of the few places where I've seen that they have a big pillow in the end that you can practice your jumps on, and it's always active, so you can just get in line. It doesn't cost anything. It can be quite popular, so you could wait some time, but really a cool area for everyone who likes freestyle skiing. Eating on the mountain, I would recommend Pauznaner Taja. They have a service restaurant, self-service, a pizza bakery, and a kiosk where you can have a rotisserie chicken, and all is quite good quality, fairly good prices, and with a nice view of the mountain. Eating at night in Ischgl, I would recommend Kitzloch, which has actually excellent food and excellent wines. It's a bit pricey, but it's really cozy and really good food. The best value for money, I would recommend Hotel Nevada. They actually have the best pizza in Central Europe. I've not been in a German-speaking country where they have better pizza than this. They have a lot of different foods to choose from, and the prices being Ischgl is fair, and you can always get a table because it's a very big restaurant. They have the best Weizen in the world, König Ludwig. They have the best water in the world with Römerkelle from Austria, and also quite a few wines to select from. Really recommended.
So which time is the best time to visit Ischgl? Depending on what you want. If you really want soft snow and go off-piste in deep snow, then it's December. That's always when you have the most snowfall. And I go out very early, even so you can hit some stones, so you shouldn't go out then if you're very scared of your skis or something like that. But my off-piste skis, I don't care. So if I hit a stone, that's just the way of doing business. So really, and if you have the risk that it will be no snow in off-piste. In Ischgl, you're safe because they always manage to open end of November. So if you don't get snow, you can still go in on piste then. But in lower altitudes, if you go somewhere else that's maximum 2,000 meters, you can end up not skiing at all. In Ischgl, you can always ski. So if you go in December, it's absolutely no off-piste snow, then you can still ski in piste. If you are the type of off-pister that you will go off-piste even if it's bad snow and not deep snow, and you just want an adventure, and maybe you're going up randore, going up touring to edges and stuff like that, then I would wait a little bit. Lesser chance of getting soft snow, but not much less, but lesser. You go in January. Mid-January is a mid-season in Ischgl where actually there's quite few people here. The afterski is still good, but you notice it's a little bit less, but in Ischgl it's actually better because in high season is so many people in the afterski. Some places you cannot get into and stuff like that. So really, if you like to go up and you need a snow coverage to do your off-piste, then I would wait until January, because then it will covered, even if it's a little bit less chance to get soft snow. February, then is the vacation periods in Switzerland and in Austria, Germany, so you have more people. Another little bit less chance of getting softer snow than January. But still great, of course. If you have to go in February, yeah, sure. March is really nice. I think you have a little bit higher to all the other months to get more sun. So it's very nice to get on piste. And then beginning of March, because mid-March to end March, then is where really spring ski starting. When you have slush, you can get slush, and the temperatures today with all the environmental stuff, you can get spring skiing any day actually. I've had it this year a lot in January when it's supposed to be the coldest months. And if you are a lot into party, it's pretty much, I would say, visit now. I'm here for the end party. It's one of the best parties in the world. It's so much fun. People are really wanting to have fun. But then you have to go spring skiing during the year. Maybe in December before Christmas, it's not so much wild in Afterski. It's a little bit less. But then January, February, half of March, the afterski is just, Ischgl has the wildest afterski of everything. That's not a discussion. You might like better on piste somewhere or better off piste somewhere, but when it comes to afterski, there's no discussion. St. Anton doesn't stand. It's good, of course, but it doesn't stand a chance against the afterski in Ischgl. So then you can go pretty much the whole season. It's just wild. So yeah. That's it.
And usually at 3 o'clock we go down to Pauznaner Taja to start the afterski. can be really wild depending on the weather. If it's really good weather and the pits gets destroyed early because of soft snow or something like that, people usually head down there quite early, and it's quite a nice atmosphere with loud music and many happy people. But also be careful, because going home there will be quite a difficult ride with a lot of people and bad snow. At 6 o'clock we usually head over to Kitzloch for the last hour, which can be very wild. Sometimes it can be really too many people here, but the energy levels can be incredible, and you just get pulled along with people standing on chairs, tables, climbing in the ceiling. It can be difficult getting up to get a beer, but it's really worth it, because people just go completely nuts, and there's drinks everywhere on the floor, crushing glass, but it's just lovely. Kitzloch closes at 7, and then we usually head over to Nikis just beside it. Nikis pretty much played the same music as Kitzloch, but maybe this is more of a dancing place, and Kitzloch is more of a singing and jumping place. Sometimes we head over to Champagnerhütte to check it out if it's good, or sometimes it can be a little bit slower, and then we hit Trofana Alm at night, which is simply the best dancing bar in the world. I would recommend to get up to the second floor and stand close to the pit, looking down on everyone jumping, and you can see across to the other side, and it's really just off the walls level of energy. Party in Ischgl in beginning of May normally is my favorite party in the world, where you have big artists playing upstairs on 2,300 meters, and full with people. You have to live with the spring skiing, but the party is just incredibly fun. People there are really happy. There's usually no problems. People dress up in costumes and just jumping more here. If it's good weather, you don't really go inside to the Afterski in Kostal or wherever you normally go to Afterski, but you stand outside, and all the places have the same music. If you go in, you will hear the same music as outside, but people will be generally jumping in the streets, and you can go around. The whole village turns into a party place where you have stands everywhere for drinks, for beer, for food, and really you go around the whole village, and they have live music, live DJs, or more traditional party music with the Austrian bands, or modern DJ music. It's really whatever you can imagine, and full with fire and shows, people, dancers standing around the whole village. So it's really a great time.
How you doing? Nisschgl here. It's the end party of Ischgl. Walking home 11 o'clock, something like that. This is just one of the best parties in the world. Crazy. I will put up pictures. If you don't mind spring skiing, this year was extremely hot, but extremely good party. But then it's one of the best parties in the world. So the end party is very good.